World's creator, Quell, quite literally just announced the next update. As in what's going to be in the update, not the actual date. With this little bit of information we've gathered, I've got people telling me that they know who the next character is going to be. Like, okay, I didn't know Sherlock Holmes came back from the dead. So we're going to look at that. We're going to speculate new floor types. You know what? Who cares? Let's just go. So before we get into how we know what the next Toon's going to be, apparently, my good friend of the channel, Blue Buoy, sent me their Toon speculation. And from what we gathered from Quell, she said that
May or may not have beef with Tisha. What? Huh?
So we know that this Toon has beef with Tisha, or Tisha doesn't like her for some reason. So Blue Buoy used their brain, rubbed it together, and came up with Belle the Dust Bunny. So that would make sense why the Dust Bunny doesn't like Tisha, because, well, Tisha cleans it. See, this isn't even something I was thinking about. I was thinking about an animate object versus inanimate object, you know, like put a little boogie in it, a booger. I thought it would be a booger. But honestly, it being dust makes more sense. With that being said, I thought there was going to be stats and abilities. No, it was just the dust. Someone else made a secret puppet guy, or like the guy like a marionette Toon thing. Flashbacks to Hijinx's OC sock. Oh. If this happens, she'd 100% have an interaction with Coco. Interesting. What? She looks like she would come out of an Easter update. What? That's enough of that. Whatever. I came up on that. So 7 months ago, Quell talked about how there will be more floor event types. 7 months ago, and only recently have tires really been kicked on it. So one of the top ideas that someone has is something called the Red Room. The Red Room will be a rare floor where there's an extremely high chance of main spawning, and there will be a 10-minute timer. If the timer reaches 0, a monster will spawn that's very fast. Faster than Twisted Pebble. Or machines are completed, the timer will pause. See, this seems fun. It seems interesting, but I think 10 minutes is too long. You can get to floor 5 in 10 minutes. I think it's something that needs to happen more regularly, or like there's enough of them with elements like blackouts that something interesting is happening consistently. And this actually brings me up to a topic that I've wanted to bring up for a while. Piggy, I thought Piggy died. Piggy had a resurgence? Because originally I was going to bring up AI mascot horror. Typically goes is that a new genre comes out, people love it for a year or two, and then it slowly dies out. But then there's something else that comes along, takes its place, and then people like it again. As I was saying, Piggy came out in 2020, but then it kind of died and people got bored. And then after people got bored and fatigued of it, what came out? Rainbow Friends, another AI mascot horror, but the difference was Rainbow Friends had more creature. And then what came after Rainbow Friends? Dandy's World. After people had been fatigued of AI mascot horror for a while. This is also my theory. Why? I don't understand. Why are so many people playing Piggy? I don't know what Piggy did. Piggy did something. It brought back a bunch of players. But like I said, they all share something in common. It's that they are AI mascot horror game. What brings people coming back to Piggy? I don't know. I actually don't. I thought I was going to bring up a strong argument, but I didn't. I completely failed. Back to floor variants. Imagine an event where a machine broke so the whole floor has a thin layer of ichor, slowing every player down some. Love it. Love that idea. When I think about it, like it's fun. It's interesting. Is that something alone that would keep me coming back to Dandy's World? You know? And I currently believe, like, the main argument with Dandy's World is that it's repetitive, right? Like, you go on floor, you complete generator, you run away from Twisted, you go up, and you last as long as you possibly can. And this is something that I saw as a problem in games like Call of Duty Zombies or Michael Zombies, for example. So Michael Zombies goes by rounds, where every round you survive, more zombies come out, the stronger they get, and you need to get perks, upgrade your weapons to survive longer in the rounds. And this, in my opinion, is a model that's like continue to have players, but not effectively. But the Roblox, or the original version of what Michael Zombies was based off of, Call of Duty Zombies, in my opinion, what made Call of Duty Zombies so fun and had people coming back to the game wasn't the base game itself. I mean, it is fun and it is somewhat replayable, but what made it so that you came back? Fun and interesting weapons. They would make fun and interesting wonder weapons that you would want to try to use, and you would come back to get them, to unlock them, and it was fun with your friends. And then once people got bored of that, they added Easter eggs where you could actively beat the game. This is my biggest argument. A way to beat the game. Because right now in Danny's World, every single time you play, I feel like you end up leaving it kind of feeling like a loser. Like, yeah, sure, you could make it to floor 30 or 50, and that was your goal going into the game, you still die, right? By the end of it, you're still dead. I think if Danny's World somehow had an element where you could win the game in some capacity, would be really fun. Where you have some type of control over the game, where you could go in with the objective of, like, I don't know, you make it to floor 30, and then the ability to win comes into play. Somehow, some way. Like a dandy boss fight, but just something interesting along those lines. You know, either way, this is a whole lot of yapathon. You guys just want to see probably the new Toon. Regardless, somebody believes that it's confirmed that they know what the next Toon is going to be. And it's based off of this. So, almost a year ago, in a Q&A stream, Quell was asked if Astro would get a Sun counterpart. And Quell responded that he already has a Sun counterpart, but it is currently unknown who it is. It could, however, presumably be Dandy. But Dandy is not a Sun, right? So this person said, Sun Toon confirmed? And I think there is some fair claim in that. But let's look at the critics' opinion. Well, it's a stretch, but Sun powers flowers, so Dandy is the opposite to Astro. Meaning that Dandy and Astro have a hidden rivalry of some capacity. But like, there's just no way that's true. Or it's because a flower looks like a sun, hence Dandy. But it's like the problem with that is that Quell literally confirmed that Dandy isn't a sunflower. In the literal wiki page, it says Dandy is a flower-like fictional species. His most defining features are his petals, not rays of a sunbeam. This guy says, yeah, it's likely just Dandy. No, it can't be. Galaxy Star says, I don't think they mean an actual sun. I think they mean how characters can be described as sun and moon, perhaps. Like a moon character would be Astro, while a sun character is like Dandy. Then explain this! Words Pokemon Sun and Moon. Quite literally sun and moon. Sure, obviously this Pokemon is supposed to be the sun. This Pokemon is supposed to be and represent the moon. Clearly, they don't exactly look like it, but it kind of does. But you can clearly see sun and moon. Whereas Astro literally has a moon on his face. There's the moon crescent. He embodies the idea of napping, of sleeping, nighttime. But Dandy, once again, it's a sun, it's a flower, right? Not a sunflower. Confirmed by Quell. Not a sunflower. It's just supposed to embody a flower in general. On their theory, they said, extra clarification, you could also describe Astro as a black cat and Dandy as an orange cat, which would practically be the same thing as sun and moon. I'm like 98% sure it's just literally Dandy. On further speculation, yeah, I could see the argument, but that, like, but now that, like, I disagree with my own opinion, I don't really know what to do with the rest of the video, because I was gonna look at sun OCs. Okay, but this is actually crazy. This is not pure coincidence. The most recent images added to the fan wiki is literally Sunny, a sun character. I didn't play in this, so I'm looking at it anyways. Screw you. I don't care that you broke your elbow. We're looking at this OC. Sunny, with 2 abilities, who's going to be a main character. I could see main energy from this character, for sure. Their first ability is refreshes the cooldown of a selected Toon's active ability. That's fun. Like, who would that really be good on? Maybe Astro, because his is so long. It's a fun idea. It's a fun concept. Their second ability is looking out for you. See, any Toons with an active ability cooldown, I mean, those 2 abilities work really well together. It's like yin and yang, the perfect fit. Their mechanic is that if a skill check is failed, the player who failed it gets a Confuse 3 for 25 seconds. Which, in case you don't know, Confuse reduces your extraction speed, which would reduce it by, I believe, 75% for 25 seconds. So you basically shouldn't work on machines for 25 seconds. So in conclusion, after watching this video, you basically gathered how I think Dandy's World should add a way to win, somehow retain players that have a resurgence like Piggy, even though I don't know what they did. All I know is an AI mascot whore, and I know typically AI mascot whores die because people get bored of it and it gets too repetitive, but there's always something new that comes and changes it, so hopefully there's something that could fix it. I also looked at floor event types, and we also looked at potentially what the new Toon could be, which I thought would totally be a sun, but on further speculation, I don't think it is. Wow, that wasn't helpful at all.